Hello, everyone. I don't look the greatest right now because my hair is a bit unkempt and I haven't shaved any. Uh, and also, you may notice that this is the first video in a while that I'm actually doing in the house. There's a reason for that. And also, you may notice that if I can do this, there's Riley right there. And he looks just a little bit traumatized. I'll get into why that is here in a moment. But as you can see, I'm filming on a sort of a different phone than what I'm used to. This is a Huawei, I believe is how you say it. And I'd like to talk about a few things because these past couple of weeks have not been very good to all of us at this house at all. I feel like I should be drinking hard liquor instead of water, but that's what I'm dealing with at the moment. Anyhow, as you know, I've had problems with this phone, my new phone, the one I've been using for about 2 years. This is a Nokia 8V 5G, and I got this in March of 2021, and it worked very well for me for 2 years. And as you know, I had difficulties charging this thing, specifically with the port right there. And I had basically had it mended in that the people there at that place I mentioned in my previous video, More Than a Fix, they basically resoldered the connectors and made it so that I could charge the thing, and it could last about maybe 3 months at the least. Well, it just so happens that last week, the thing died again. And this wouldn't be so much of a problem had it not been that all of the notes for my current writing project and even some clips for a video that I'm putting together on which pocket watch is the best for everyday use, which I'm making for Michael Keller because he had just come out of surgery and was considering acquiring a pocket watch to use and wear. All that is on here. I have no access to it. I could try and have the port looked at again, but it would set me back. It cost me $78.79 just to get it mended the first go round. It may either cost me the same amount, maybe more, to have this re-inspected. I don't know. But that's the first thing that's going on. So basically, I'm stuck, and I cannot necessarily do very much in terms of videos or anything else. This phone right here I'm using as a temporary fix. I haven't even fully set it up. I can text and I can email people and shoot pretty decent videos. Other than those three, I could basically do nothing else. So, and I can listen to music, but nonetheless, so I'm set back technologically in terms of everything else. All right, and I may need to, I don't know, probably work on something else before I can get those notes back, because that's the thing. I've been using this I made a video a while back about this website called I Write Like, where you can basically enter in a sample of your writing into this text analyzer, and it will tell you just what famous writer you resemble stylistically. And I kind of use that a bit too much, I must admit. And I have the tendency to devise passages, future passages in that, just to draft them out before I actually get to writing them down. And then I would take screenshots of them and would save them into my camera's memory. And I know this was a priority that needed to be done when first I got this thing repaired. I needed to basically take the files off this phone and onto my laptop. I figured, hey, I had 3 months. I'm not going to rush things. Now I don't have that option. So I cannot work on my magnum opus for the foreseeable future. I'm going to try and see if I can get this looked at. Maybe this or next weekend. I don't know. We'll see. So that's what's going on there. And I guess I could tell you more about my progress on other things. Frankenstein again, not finished. I just haven't had a lot of time, really, to just sit down and read. I usually find myself doing other things, such as writing or research into, well, I can't exactly say what I'm researching at the moment, but nonetheless, it will amount to something great, hopefully. And here's what I've decided to do with my first novel. So I'm going to basically have my cousin who watches my videos help me format it in Amazon, KDP Direct Publishing, however you call it, because I don't know necessarily how to do that, and we're going to have a cover doctored up for it, and hopefully maybe just print out a limited edition. I don't know, because I really just want this thing out of there so I can just work on other projects. And I'm going to reread the whole thing and try and get it to where it's matching the original draft as close as possible, because there are bits in there that are more brilliant than I had realized. So that's what we've got going there. Okay, so now we get into the reason why the cats look so traumatized, and why it is I'm inside the house, and why it is that the house is empty. I'm the only one here at the moment. So, 1 year, 9 months, and 6 days ago, my uncle had come to stay with us for an indeterminate amount of time as he recuperated from whatever illness he was afflicted with. We never really found out what it was that was ailing him. The closest thing that we could get out of the doctors was that it was muscular atrophy, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, because he was almost immobile at a point, which I suppose could make a little sense, but in the end, there was never really a concrete idea as to what happened. And so through all this time, we've been basically, well, my mother and my grandmother have been doing a large part of all of the rehabilitation. And I don't want to talk too much about it, because really I don't want to bore you folks out there with this, and I don't really think that you want to hear too much about it. It may be too personal, but nonetheless, right here, This is a machine that he's gotten pretty mobile over the past year and a half. This is a machine that he used to get on, and it's a whole body vibration machine. So he would just be standing up there with assistance, of course, and this thing would basically shake him for 10 minutes. And that is supposed to, I suppose, get everything circulating. Right next to that, this here is his walker, which it's obviously not a regular standard issue walker. It's a more industrial, medical grade walker, which he was getting physical therapy for a while, and he still is, technically, at least I think he is. And basically the therapist would walk him with that, and before long we used to, but I'll get into why that is. As you can see there, that's an empty hospital bed. That's where he's laid for the past, I would say, since September of 2021. He has shifted all through this house from my mother's room, from the spare bedroom to my mother's room to the office, and now he's basically settled in here. This is the first time this room has been void of any people since September of 21. And I will get into the reason behind that. So, about maybe a little less than a month ago, I was scheduled to work a job with house and pet sitting. And, I originally thought I was going to go there early in the day, but then they had informed me that it would have to be in the evening because they'd be packing up to wherever it was they were going. And so I just stayed here most of the day and prepared myself to be ready for this excursion. And I decided to go into the house around 11 or 12, I don't know when, but apparently, as Mum had told me, he was on this machine and basically lost the use of his legs. To a point where he never really was the same. We had built up over the course of a year or so the ability to get him to walk with assistance, and basically now, for a good while, he had just stayed in bed and didn't necessarily do anything. In fact, this is devastating to recount, but I remember one time he was in that bed, and I had asked if you were ready to get up in the morning, to which he then replied, "Why?" That's a very existentialist and pessimistic remark, and something I would never expect to hear from my uncle at all. And basically, we had told the specialist about this, and it had been determined that we were not to work him either on this machine or even really to walk him at all, and that they were supposed to do that on their own. And so gradually he seemed to be getting a little better, and he was still not doing as much because he was recuperating and all of that, but nonetheless it seemed like he was fairly okay until he had had these strange spells of nausea that would... Got Kitty right here, looking just a little bit better, aren't you? he would have these bizarre spells of nausea that would come and go, and we didn't necessarily think much about it. And one day he had basically gone into almost sort of a trance type of state, and Kitty's wanting off of me, so I'm going to go ahead and release him. It's okay, Kitty. Say hello to viewers, Kitty. There he is. And we thought he was okay, but nonetheless, he had went into this trance almost, and it seemed as if that he was almost going to leave this earth, but he didn't, and we just waited for it. They just waited for it to run its course, and this happened once before, in July, the week after he had come to stay with us. And basically, we had thought nothing about it, but the physical therapist, not the physical, the doctor, whoever, had basically said, if he is like this again, you have to contact the paramedics, because apparently it's a very serious condition. We don't know exactly what it is, but nonetheless, that's what's happening. And so he was getting physical therapy, and now he's getting optimal therapy, or occupational OT, nonetheless. I'm not entirely sure what it's all about, because I mainly stay outside in the garage, because this is too much for me to handle, honestly. It may not seem like it. I know that my brother will deny its effects on me, probably, just maybe a little bit, but it really is a strain on me. All of this, believe you me. But nonetheless, this OT was said to come by today. And he did. And Uncle, this morning when we got up, I had gone up to, go to the toilet and whatever else, and basically, I think after that, it was around 4 in the morning, I went back to my garage and just went back to sleep. During this time, I suppose Mum or Graham had said that he was moaning and complaining for a good part of the night, basically from 4 onwards. And we tried to get him up this morning, or he tried to get himself up this morning, and he would either rise up or come back down, rise up, come back down, rise up, come back down. And essentially, what happened was that the OT came at around 11. And I was just in my garage, minding my own business. I think Ahab had put out the first installment of his school series that I'll be watching here soon. I was watching that, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of it, Mum comes barging in and wants to know where her keys are at. And I said I returned them to her. And she had to move her car because basically the paramedics were here to take Uncle. And all she said was that he was not feeling well. She didn't elaborate or anything on that. She just said in a very troubled manner, he's just not feeling well. And so, basically, I finished the rest of the video. I wait there for a little bit just to see what's happening. The neighbor comes by because she's very observant and notices when we've had the paramedics in the fire department called upon more times in the past 1 year, 9 months, and 6 days than we have perhaps in the last 20 years over to this house. And basically, I to be honest, I had said that, well, it's not really looking good because I didn't know what was going on. I had just been told that Uncle is not feeling well, and who knows what could be happening. But, pardon me, nonetheless, it came about that grandmother had told me that he had had some sort of infection in his stomach. And we don't know exactly what it is, but his temperature was rising, his vitals were very high, and basically he's rushed off to the emergency room in the very same hospital in which my father had perished. And so, Mom and grandmother are on their way and have left me here basically to look after things, until they get back. And that's basically what's happening. We have no idea exactly what is wrong with him. It may be appendicitis, it may be a less or more serious condition. We don't know, honestly. And I realize all this, with my troubles with my phone and the whole writing thing and just all this stuff going on with my uncle and all that. I find that I may need to take a step back from the whole YouTube thing. And I know I just said in my previous video that I will be back, provided that I'll be able to get the technology up and running. But there's just a lot going on right now. And it was just foisted upon all of us at the spur of the moment in an impromptu fashion that to continue with this would just add more strain to me personally. And I don't need to deal with any more nonsense. Not that this is nonsense or not, but it's just that there's a lot going on. And I ask you for your respect during this time. I'm not entirely sure when I'll be back. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I'm going to try and see if I can get this phone here repaired. But we honestly don't know what's happening with Uncle at this stage. He could be dying. We don't know. So I know I ask nothing of you people, but if you could, again, just pray for his emergence from hospital unscathed and basically restored to what he was. And that would be just exceedingly wonderful. And I don't know, maybe next week I'll be back with a review of Frankenstein. I honestly do not know at this stage. And if I don't do a review of it, I'll finish it anyway and probably shoot a review later and post that whenever. But that's what's happening. And I thank you very much for watching. I apologize for having to bring all of this information to you at a moment's notice. Ahab has this new school series coming out, of which the second installment will be out today. I'll probably watch that and most likely do nothing for the rest of the day. Thank you very much. I don't know exactly when I will see you, provided that these technological detriments continue to persist, and also the prolonged ill of my uncle continues to persist. I thank you very much, and God bless you all. Cheers.